chances are your first book will be rubbish, and maybe your second one, and maybe your third one, and fourth one. But as I mentioned before, you're going to learn so much from those. Once you hit your sixth or seventh, bang, then you've got your Harry Potter, or then you've got your your New York Times
Or it can
bestseller.
be the reverse. Like, so let me put it this way: are you familiar with The Alchemist?
Yep.
Okay, one of my favorite books. And the author's story is absolutely gorgeous. His first book sold, I think, the first year sold like 1 or 2 copies. Okay. So his first book is The Alchemist. That was his first book. Sold 1 or 2 copies. The first publisher, pulls it from the shelf, says, this is rubbish. We're not doing this. Second person picks it up, or second publisher picks it up, and they publish it. But now they're putting basically a lien on the book of, hey, if it doesn't sell this amount of copies, like you owe us money, that type of stuff, right? And this book is now 25, 26 years running. It's one of those books that Oprah, Will Smith, like Tony Robbins, they talk about, they refer to on a regular basis. But had he stopped writing, so he wrote a book that was, maybe way before its time, but he wrote his best book possible. He put it into the books. He did it. The first 2 years show, oh, this isn't a good book, but he continues to keep writing, even because that says, oh, it's not that good of a book. But it actually was. It just needed more time to marinate and get into the right hands before it actually saw the success it needed to see.
I didn't know that, because I've read that book, and it is like, it's one of those books that's like, it's kind of like How to Win Friends and Influence People. Like, it's, there's a lot of books that will only be relevant for this kind of period. But that's the sort of book that's like, just, it's always going to be world-class content. And I know, I just, having read the book, knowing the success, I just assumed he was some big shot who published it, and then it just, went off just like, I had no idea, only had 1 or 2 copies. So that's a great point. And it's just, the word you used there was consistency. It's just being consistent, building that momentum, and you'll start to see stuff happen. There's I remember, I saw a graph, and this is not like, like scientific or official or anything, but someone was like, this graph, if you imagine a graph, it's just like a straight line slowly going up and up and up, and that's how people think life is. I just slowly get better and better and better. But really what they say it's like nothing, 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 and then it goes big curve at the end. And so everyone's working, and most people give up before the curve, before they get that big spike and the big jump, because they think they haven't made it. But the people who make it are the ones who just keep going, consistent, and then they meet someone, and then it gets in the right publisher's hands, and bang, it blows up, or whatever it is. And so that's how I try to visualize kind of life right now. Whenever you don't start seeing success, you're like, okay, I'm working towards that curve. I'm almost at the curve, or just understand that it's not like gradual.
Absolutely. And are you familiar at all with J.K. Rowling's story?
Her personal story?
Her personal story.
Roughly. I know she had some stuff go on.
So, single mother, on welfare, 12 publishers tell her that Harry Potter is rubbish.
Yeah, that's right. It's hard to believe, isn't it? 12.
Right? I mean, the board game Monopoly had the same problem with it.
Yeah.
But you got to understand, the woman found her passion. She knew her why. And she went all in on herself. And she was not willing to give up no matter what. Plain and simple. And so that's what helped her persist through 12 publishers, which what didn't help me pursue through medical school. You see the contrast?
Yeah.
Like exactly. And the same thing with the why, and then understanding, okay, it's not going back to the graph that you were talking about. It's not necessarily ever going to be easy until it is. And so I'm going to persist until it's like, oh, wow, John, we always thought you were a sure thing. Okay. Yeah. Sure you did.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, exactly.